What's this? A letter for me.
Welcome to another episode of Remember the Great Sports Through the Mail Thursdays. Today I'm going to share with you 3 recent returns of people that just signed for me through the mail, and I'm going to profile each of those individuals and share with you their careers. So the first one is postmarked from Illinois, and it is returned from former Washington Senator Bud Zipfel on 2 of 3. I don't know if 2's the limit, or they were stuck together, or Bud just simply overlooked them. But he only signed 2 of the 3, which is fine. Happy to have those back. So let me tell you about Bud Zipfel and his career in baseball. Bud Zipfel, his full name is actually Marion Sylvester Zipfel, but he goes by Bud. Grew up in Belleville, Illinois, which is right outside of St. Louis. After graduating from Belleville High School in 1956, Zipfel signed with the New York Yankees. He steadily progressed through the Yankees minor league system over the next 5 years, showing some potential as a powerful left-handed hitting first baseman. Standing at 6'3", 200 pounds, he played first base, he batted left, and threw right, which is ironic because in that card it looks like I guess he is batting left. He's kind of like doing a follow-through. But it looked like he's almost posing right-handed, but if you look at the bat, he's actually swinging it. He exceeded the 20 home run mark twice while in the minors, once in the Class D New York Penn League with 21 in 1958, and again in the Eastern League, hitting 28 in 1960. On December 14, 1960, Zipfel was not protected by the Yankees and was chosen by the Los Angeles Angels in the 29th round in the 1960 Major League Expansion Draft. He didn't last long with the Angels because the Angels in turn flipped him to the Washington Senators, which was also an expansion team that year. Zipfel was invited to spring training with the big league club, the expansion Senators, in 1961, and he unfortunately didn't make the big club out of spring training and was sent down to their AAA affiliate. In 1961, with the Syracuse Chiefs, he wound up with a combined batting average of .312 with 18 home runs over 108 games. Well, during that 1961 season, Zipfel made his major league debut for the Washington Senators on July 26, 1961. He remained with the big league club after that July call-up and for the rest of the season as a backup first baseman, but he only put up a batting average of .200 with only 4 home runs over those 50 games. So the amazing thing is Zipfel was actually drafted to serve in the United States Marine Corps after that 61 season, but the short stint that he spent in the military, he was actually back by spring training in 1962. So he had a very small window there between the 61 and 62 season that he served his country. He began the season in the minor leagues again in 1962, but again he got called up to the major leagues, this time in June, and he remained with the Senators for the rest of the season, again splitting time between first base and also playing a little bit in the outfield. He struggled again at the major league level, batting just .239 with 6 home runs over 68 games. Now, one of the big things that happened to him, and probably the biggest notoriety thing that Bud did in his career in 1962 was, so teammate Tom Cheney was pitching for the Senators at the time, and the game went into extra innings, 16 innings actually, and Tom Cheney, by the end of that game, wound up having the most strikeouts in a baseball game with 21 batters. Well, this of course was accomplished by him pitching 16 innings, Cheney that was, but Zipfel broke up the game by having the game-winning hit against the Baltimore Orioles. Through 9 innings, Cheney had just 13 strikeouts, but as you know, he would dominate that, on that September 12th night. And Cheney, by the end of that game, would have 21 strikeouts against the Baltimore Orioles. It was the bottom of the 16th inning, and Zipfel hit the game-winning home run off of Orioles pitcher Dick Hall, giving the Senators a hard-fought 2-1 victory. To this day, that record for Tom Cheney still stands. Max Scherzer, Kerry Wood, and Roger Clemens struck out 20 in a game, but they just didn't get to that 21. After that 1962 season, the Senators would let him go, and Bud would sign with the Cincinnati Reds, playing in their minor league system. After that, in 64, he would go on to play for the Tigers. In 65, he would return to the Reds and split time between them and St. Louis, playing in the minor leagues. And in 1966, he would split time both between the Cardinals affiliate and the Phillies affiliate before he decided to hang it up. And it's a shame for that 64 Tigers club because he didn't get a shot at the majors, because he actually batted .277 and hit 20 home runs for their AA affiliate, but still didn't get that call to the major leagues. Well, after Zipfel toiled in the minor leagues for 4 seasons, he decided to retire and move back to his hometown in Belleville, and he actually became a successful real estate agent and developer in the Belleville area. So that's where Zipfel still lives to this day, from my understanding. He is 85 years old as of me shooting this video, so he is not a young man anymore. But I want to thank Mr. Zipfel for signing for me, and we'll move on to the next return. All right, the next one is postmarked from Cleveland, Ohio. And this is a return from former Minnesota Twin Andy Kosco on 1, 2, a 1966 rookie star, 3, there's a Yankee, and a 4th as a Cincinnati Red. So without me saying anything moving forward, you can tell that Andy got around a little bit in his career, because this is him with 3 different teams just in itself. So let me tell you about Andy Kosco and his career in baseball. Another outfielder, first baseman like Zipfel. Andy grew up in Struthers, Ohio, where he attended high school in Struthers, Ohio. Standing at 6'3", 205 pounds. He batted both right-handed and through right-handed. While he was in high school, he didn't just play baseball, but he also played basketball, and he also played football as well. Well, his numbers in high school are just crazy, and this is Wikipedia, so I'm hoping this is accurate. But as a senior, he averaged 25 points a game in basketball, but he also batted .715 his senior year in high school. Yes, that's .715. That means 71% of the time, or 72% of the time, Andy Kosco got a hit when he came up to the plate. Now again, this is me pulling this off of Wikipedia, so I hope that's accurate. So he had an opportunity to go to Michigan State to play baseball and basketball, and Ohio State actually offered him to play baseball and football. Unfortunately, Andy said, hey, you know what? I want to turn pro. And before the 1959 season, Kosco signed with the Detroit Tigers as an amateur free agent. Well, he had some formative years for the Tigers system, and he played in the Tigers system all the way through 1964. And he actually had a pretty remarkable season in 1960 with the Tigers Class B affiliate, where he hit 22 home runs and batted .273. That's a far cry from .715, but still, that's a pretty solid season. Well, the Tigers decided to let him go after that 64 season in their minor league system. He was debating on going back to school at that point. However, the Minnesota Twins decided to sign him, and when he signed with the Twins, he's like, hey, I'm thinking about going back to school because this baseball thing's not really paying the bills really well. Well, the Twins put him in their AAA affiliate. He excelled with the Twins. In August of 1965, Harmon Killebrew became injured. So Andy Kosco got the call to the major leagues. He filled in for Harmon Killebrew, basically stayed on the team through the end of the season. However, he was left off the World Series roster for the Twins that year. So after a small sample size of 1965 playing with the Twins, in 1966, he would make the big club and remain on the roster most of the season, but he would appear in just 57 games backing up the future Hall of Famer and playing a little bit of outfield. When 1967 rolled around, the Twins decided to move him back down to AAA. He responded by batting .297 and hitting 13 home runs, but with his call up to the majors in '67, he appeared in just 9 games and batted just a sparse .143. After that season concluded in 1967, he was actually purchased by the Oakland A's. However, they in turn flipped him to the New York Yankees. And this is him, with his Yankees card right there. As a Yankee in 1968, Kosco appeared in 131 games for the Yankees that year and actually posted a 240 batting average while playing first base in the outfield and hit 15 home runs. However, his one season in New York didn't last into the next year, because in December of 1968, he was then traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers for Mike Kekich. Kosco was a big fan of the Yankees growing up, and he was not happy that he felt, that he was only there for one season and got to be teammates with Mickey Mantle. He did, however, go to the Dodgers that following year. Well, in 1969, he moved across the country. He was pretty much the full-time first baseman for the Dodgers that next year. He appeared in 129 games for them and hit 19 home runs and posted a 248 batting average. By 1970, however, the Dodgers decided to cut his playing time back. He appeared in just 74 games. He still did hit 8 home runs, but his batting average continued to decline to just 228. After that 1970 season, his time in LA was done, and the Dodgers traded him to the Milwaukee Brewers for pitcher Al Downing. After his trade to the Brewers, he spent some time with them and then was traded to the California Angels for Tommy Reynolds, and then later the Boston Red Sox, before then being sent off to the Cincinnati Reds. With the Reds, he actually batted a respectable 280 and 118 at-bats in 1973, and this was the team that would win the National League West title, but this was the Cincinnati Reds team that would eventually drop the series to the New York Mets on their way to the World Series that year. After his time with the Reds, Kosco would sign with the Philadelphia Phillies. However, the Phillies sent him to their AAA affiliate, and after wrapping up the 1975 season with the Phillies affiliate, Andy retired from baseball. I'm not really sure what Andy did post-playing career in baseball. However, his Wikipedia page does point out that he had 2 sons named Bryn and Drew, and they also went on to play professional baseball. I don't think, made it to the majors, but he did raise his 2 sons in a baseball family, and they played professionally as well. So, very happy to add Andy Kosco to the collection. Unfortunately, Ted Uhlaender passed away a little while back, so I won't be able to get him to sign that ever, but very happy to get Andy, and we'll move on to the final return. Alright, so the next return is actually from the East Coast. And it is a return. I was going to do this again, and this is a return for the all-time Orioles set. And this is former Oriole Dave Leonhard on 4 of 4. And as you can see, he signed his rookie card, and again, Dave May is no longer with us, so I won't be able to get Dave May to sign this. However, very happy to get Dave Leonhard to sign all of these. So let me tell you about Dave Leonhard and some pretty amazing things about him personally and his career in baseball. A native of Arlington, Virginia, Leonhard actually attended Johns Hopkins University, where he played baseball and also played basketball for the team. Leonhard arrived at Johns Hopkins in the fall of 1960 as a junior transfer from Washington College in Chesterton, Maryland, and he decided to major in history. Well, he had to sit out for a year before he could playing in sports, so he played for the Blue Jays baseball team in 1962 and also was a basketball player as a senior as well. A self-described horrible pitcher in high school, Leonhard improved at Hopkins. A right-handed starter, he won 3 games while losing 2 on one occasion, pitching 13 innings and striking out 18 batters. Nonetheless, upon graduation, no professional scouts really showed interest in him. That neither surprised nor bothered Leonhard, given that he had never entertained any illusions about playing baseball. That summer, he had some friends participating in a Baltimore area amateur league, and he began teaching an American history class at a local high school. During the academic year, Leonhard bumped into an Orioles scout who'd seen him pitch previously that summer. To Leonhard's astonishment, the scout offered him a contract to pitch with the Orioles organization. So if you guys remember, a little while back I did a video on Henry Finkel, and a basketball scout found him at a Dairy Queen. So this is just as unique. This guy was actually a high school teacher, fresh out of college, and a scout who saw him previously at Hopkins actually said, "Hey, what you doing? You want to come play baseball?" So because of his teaching commitment, Leonhard said, "Listen, I got to teach through June. That's my bread and butter. That's my job." And he was able to convince the Orioles to sign him and allow him to come pitch for them in the summer months, while he intended on going back to being a teacher in that fall. Come that fall, after the minor league season, during that off season, he returned to civilian life and actually worked as a social worker in that off season. However, in the spring of 1964, he would resume his activities as a baseball player. Over the next several years, it was all a rapid pace as Dave would move his way up through the system and got his call up to the major leagues. Dave would make his debut at the end of September of 1967, pitching for the Baltimore Orioles. Well, it turns out he became friends with this other guy on the Orioles, and he was a little bit older as a rookie at 26, but he became roommates with future Hall of Famer Jim Palmer. As a matter of fact, Leonhard would meet his wife, his future wife, through Jim Palmer. So Leonhard would indeed stick with the club in the 1968 season. He would post a 7-7 record. He would split time as a starter and a reliever, appearing in 28 games. Leonhard would stick with the Baltimore Orioles through the 1972 season. He would also be part of their teams that went to the World Series. Unfortunately, they didn't win all those years. In 1973, however, the Orioles decided to send him back down to AAA at the age of 32. And about midway through the season in June, the Orioles traded him to the California Angels. He would finish out the year with the Angels minor league affiliate. They wouldn't even bring him up to the major leagues. And after that 73 season, he would again return to the Angels, and he would split time between the Angels minor league affiliate and the Chicago Cubs affiliate. Well, at this time, the Cubs let him go as well, and he signed in 1975 with the Montreal Expos. With the Expos, he was stuck in their Double-A affiliate, appearing in 20 games. Did not get a call to the major leagues with the Expos at that time. He decided to come back in 1976 at the age of 35. After 8 games in the minor leagues and not getting a call up to the majors by the Expos, Dave decided to hang it up. Well, this is where things get interesting. As I mentioned, Dave was, a very educated individual. As a matter of fact, his teammates, when he was in the bullpen, they used to quiz him about history because his major was history at Johns Hopkins. So it was, just good banter, the guys in the bullpen, BSing around. But instead of doing an academic route, he moved back to Massachusetts, and he actually opened a nursery in Massachusetts with his wife. So by the end of his tenure playing in baseball, he opened this place in 1975, and as of 2010, they own 7 greenhouses in that general area in that Massachusetts town that they live in. Well, I don't know if Dave's still going at it. He's 83 years old now, so I don't know if he's still out in the nursery doing his thing, but I thought it was very cool that after his playing career, he went on to become a pretty successful businessman working, in nurseries. So, very happy to add Dave Leonhard to the collection. Very happy to share his story with you guys. I hope you enjoy that. Also very happy to add Andy Kosco to the collection. And very happy to add Bud Zipfel as well. So I'm not really sure, like I said, what Kosco wound up doing, but Zipfel worked in real estate and Leonhard worked in a nursery. In another article I was reading about Leonhard, he said he never made more than $25,000 a year as a player, and he didn't have a lot of money, so the Orioles gave him an option to actually get a new television or his World Series ring in 1970. And looking back at it, Dave kind of regretfully took the television. So Dave forego getting his World Series ring on that 1970 Orioles club for a TV. So I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this. Hopefully you learned a little bit about some players that you may not have known about in the 1960s and early 70s. I look forward to your comments below, and as always, happy collecting.